Welcome to Ignite to Impact, a weekly podcast that explores what it takes to make your community, our nation, and the world a better place. You've tuned in to be inspired and enlightened as we pull back the curtain and dive into intimate and energetic conversations with achievers and doers. We are talking with leaders who are in the trenches making phenomenal changes through business, nonprofits, education, and the arts. Our goal? To encourage, motivate, and challenge you to go to the next level in leadership. Now, here's your host, Master Leadership Strategist, Dr. Geneva Williams. So, let's ignite to impact.
Tell us first, what's been the biggest challenge? Or perhaps what surprised you the most?
I think the biggest challenge was getting black men to accept the fact that I'm going to make this time commitment to somebody that's not of my family.
Okay.
Because it is a time commitment. I think as far as the boys are concerned, we could never reach the amount that we need to reach because so many of them are having problems. But it's given me a tremendous respect for the women that are running households. Some of the things that these moms, grandmoms, have to go through to help raise this boy and make him a man is very, very difficult. You know, you got women that are working 2 and 3 jobs. They've got multiple children, and you know the boy may be the problem, and she's got to try to figure out, you know, how do I help develop him into a man? And so it's hard for her to do that by herself, I think, and therefore us men, us black men, we've got to stand up. And I'm proud that so many of them are coming to the table. I've got men that have been in the program now with a child going into the 3rd year, which is unbelievable. Our turnover rate is very, very low. We got 90 to 92% of our men that are coming back standing into this program. And what they've said is that once I met this kid, I've become a part of his life and of my life. And so they're trying to stay with these kids until they at least graduate from high school.
Okay.
Because most of our kids come in the program, and the sweet spot for us is 7th, 8th, and 9th grade.
Okay. And so what age range, how old 14, are they?
14 to 16 to 17.
16.
Yeah. Because that's such a critical time in the lives of these boys, you know.
Yeah.
And most of them make a decision as to which way they're going to go at that age, because a lot of them, by the time they go into the 9th grade, they're making a decision whether or not I want to go to school, whether I want to drop out, whether I want to be in the streets, whether I want to try to make money, or whatever the case may be. So we got to get them young enough that we can make a difference in terms of giving them good advice and putting a vision in front of them of who they can become. And so, as I said, we're going to have our first senior class this year, and I can see the difference. We're not educators, but we put the pressure on them, and we're always asking them about improving their grades in school. We want to know exactly how they're progressing. The behavioral problems that so many of them have, we really take a hard look at that. Then the emotional issues that so many of them are dealing with from the backgrounds they come from. So we got to be able to be good listeners. We're not there to be a surrogate dad. We're there to become your friend, to become your advisor, and become somebody that you can lean on when you got a problem and you got some questions that trying to figure out which way to go. And that's who we are, and that's who we need to be.
And I just love the you're drawing them up, these young boys, a picture, a vision of who they can become, and you're showing it with, leadership and grace and being there and that time thing. That's one of the challenges that many, many organizations face. But it seems like you found some secret sauce, and I think I heard what at least part of it is that the men that you've attracted to the program as role models, once they get to know and work with these young men, they become a part of them and they feel this responsibility to continue on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they're sticking with the program. Yeah. And I've heard wives say, I'm glad my husband is a part of this program. And I let those wives know how much I appreciate them. Yes. Because I'm taking their husbands away from them for a period of time. And people would say, well, an hour a week is nothing. But when you start looking at the demographics of where the guy may work, he's got to drive to the school where the kid is, he got to drive back to his job. It's more than an hour a week. And so when you're raising your own family and you're trying to build your own career, time is important. And so I've been fortunate with leadership in our businesses that not only do they help fund it, but they understand the time parameters that's necessary for their employee to be a part of the program.
Yes, and we talked earlier about how President Barack Obama gave really, the energy, the light, the focus for this whole effort when he challenged many of the cities to sign on to this initiative to provide greater opportunities for young men of color. And I know even here on the local level, you're a co-chair of the My Brother's Keeper initiative, which is part of what President Obama started, sparked, stimulated. And one of the things that he said is, quote, "This is an issue of national importance. It's as important as any issue that I work on. It's an issue that goes to the very heart of why I ran for president." Is this issue one of the reasons why you ran for mayor?
I could say yes, but I saw our city in a terrible crisis. And I wasn't interested in becoming mayor. I mean, I had just finished 29 years as an entrepreneur. And, prior to that, 12 years as a professional athlete. And I was at an age where I felt that I had accomplished a lot and it's time to kind of enjoy and sit back and enjoy life. But our city was in such turmoil that the business community came to me, along with our community at large, and says, we need somebody of your caliber to step into this role. And I did that. And then I got exposed to so much. In terms of what the needs were in the city and specifically what our young boys of color needed. Too many of our boys are, in the penal system and such a waste. And we need to give them different kinds of options. And so I've got men from every walk of life, people from the UAW. I got entrepreneurs, McDonald's owners. I've got guys that own their automotive supply companies. I've got guys from the major corporations. Blue Cross has been unbelievably supportive. Comerica Bank. I mean, I can just go down and name so many organizations and businesses that are a part of this. And they understand. They understand.
Yeah, but they're part of this, Mr. Mayor, because I'm thinking because you reached out and asked them, you used your connections, your influence, and that's what leadership's about, influence. But you use that for this whole initiative. I mean, is that right?
Absolutely. No doubt about it. I mean, over the years, as a business person, and a community guy, as a guy that was in politics for a short period of time, I mean, there's hardly anybody that I don't know. And I've built good relationships with. And when I tell them the story and how great the need is, people understand. And this is not a one-horse pony, I guess you would say. These folks want to help out because our city is not going to come back unless we involve the millennials and these young people, because too many of them are taking the wrong path. A lot of them will say, there's no future for me in Detroit. I go to school, I'm not coming back to Detroit. And we've got to impress upon them, in order for our city to come back, we need you. So we've got to train them, we've got to expose them, we've got to cajole them, we've got to do everything that we can to make them successful and be a part of the rebirth of this city. It's a great city, and we've had our problems, but these young men, they do the right thing, they will be the next leaders.
And see, I believe that, your path, your leadership path is really what's going to make a difference and change in our community. You talked about, you're using what you've built up, those relationships, those connections. You're unleashing that leadership and those resources to make a difference in the lives of young boys. And I bet you those 17, how many was it? 17 who had never flown before?
Yeah.
who because of you got on this plane. But see, I didn't know that. Before they got on the plane, you went and you all coached and taught and explained the whole thing. They will never ever forget that. And that'll make a difference. And hopefully when they become successful, when they become fathers and men of the community and are working and have their own businesses and are giving back, that they'll turn around and give back to others.
They become our greatest ambassadors. I've got some of those young men that are saying to me today, I've got a little brother, I'm his mentor already.
Yes.
So that's where the numbers really add up. I mean, I'm not hung up on how many I can get. I mean, if I can make a positive difference in the lives of these 80 that I got in the program, that's 80 I don't have to worry about going to jail.
Right.
Out here robbing somebody or shooting somebody,
That's right.
And now a lot of these guys are from different neighborhoods, different schools. And there's always this interplay of competition. And academically, they're competing against each other now. They want to be the best. A particular school wants to be the best in this program. And so competition is always healthy. It's always good. So these kids are going to succeed and do well, and they will become leaders. There's no doubt in my mind.
So the program sounds fantastic, but I don't want to just call it a program. It's really a movement, an initiative. So what do you need? I mean, if you had a wand that you could wave and you could make some difference in what you're doing now, you as a businessman understand continuous improvement.
Absolutely.
You understand as an athlete how to always go to the next level. So what's that next level for what you're doing now? What do you need? What do you want? What's the future?
Well, I'm going to stay focused on Detroit.
Okay.
And I think focus is very important, because if you start to be all over the place, you're not going to be successful. I've had conversations with the leaders in the NBA. We've got 30 major urban cities representing NBA franchises. There are other guys out there that have retired, that have come up the same way I came up, and they're looking for something to do. This is what I think we can do. And now we can start taking a program like this and an initiative like this and take it to other NBA cities and get those athletes and those leaders involved. And I'm willing to share everything that I've learned so that they don't have to start from scratch. And so we're having those conversations now, and hopefully we'll see. Dave Bing's going to stay in Detroit, but I can take this program and the things that we've learned and put together the processes I can share and let other guys know this is how we did it. It's not the only way, but it's working for us right now. So you can take it and you can add to it. You can mix it up. You can do whatever. But all of us need to be a part of this.
And so this way it can have that ripple effect.
Correct.
And be a national movement.
Could be. Yeah.
Hey, that's where it always starts, with that vision of what could be.
Yes, you're right.
And then having the leaders and the passion to make it happen.
Passion is important. Passion is important.
That passion's important. I can hear it in your voice, Mr. Mayor. I just can't tell you, this has been just such an incredible conversation. In looking through some of your material, the things you've written, I came across this one thing that you said, and I guess I probably want to wind down our conversation with you saying a little bit more. You said, quote, "One of the biggest challenges in the face of adversity is to provide leadership that gives hope and empowers our young men." Say a little more about that. Let's end with that.
That's good. Yeah. Hopelessness is all around us. All of the things that are going on in our cities, urban cities in particular. A lot of guys are ready to just give up because they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And we've got to tell them stories. We've got to show them things. We've got to be with them to impress upon them that they too can be a beacon of light. And we need them to be that. We need to empower them, and they get empowered starting with education, in my opinion, and respect for others. And those are two small things, but if we can leave that with them, I think they've got the benchmark to success.
There it is. Education and respect for others. It's just really great. What more can you want for? And just that you're doing it one young man at a time, and pulling together, unleashing all your leadership and your connections, and pulling in others to help with this movement.
It's working.
And it's working. And I can see it. And you're getting ready to have your first graduating group.
Yes.
That's going to be fun. So that's going to be
That's in October.
This October.
Yes.
Fantastic. You got all kinds of plans?
We'll have all of our mentees, all of our mentors, all of our funders, all of the parents, all of the people from the different schools. We're there in 19 different schools.
Yes.
We'll get the principals, we'll get the school coordinators, and we'll all come together and celebrate what we've been able to achieve at this point, but challenge those young men. The 22 guys that are going to be seniors next year, most of them never thought about going to college. Now with the trip that we took, most of them understand that in order for me to be successful, I need to go to college and get this education.
If nothing else but that, that really makes a difference. Mr. Mayor, I just can't tell you how not only, I very much enjoyed this conversation. I've known you for a long, long time. I think I mentioned to you earlier, I've seen, of course, I watched you from afar as you were shooting them hoops. I, of course, admired all I heard in terms of how you were growing and building your business. And then, of course, as mayor, I had the privilege of working with you on several initiatives and being so thankful to you for restoring trust and confidence in our city government. But I have never, ever heard you as passionate and as excited as I have when you're talking about what you're doing now. This great leadership venture that you're on to make a difference in our community. And I so much appreciate you for taking the time to share it with us.